Hi guys, and welcome to a TKC music tutorial session. In this short video we will be learning what is reverb, what it sounds like, how to apply it to a composition and why we are applying it. I'm going to start off with the why, which might be an unusual place to start, but I think it makes sense to start here as it gives the practical and maybe relatable aspect of it. It might have already been a question that you've asked yourself and never been able to find the answer or given the answer. So hopefully this video should be able to answer your question if you have asked it about reverb. So yeah, why are we applying reverb to our compositions? So let's think. When you sing in the shower, or maybe whistle in the shower, whistle in the underpass, talk in the underpass, you might have had this thought of, oh, it sounds nicer than usual, or why do I sing better in the shower? Why do I whistle better in the toilets? And you might not have even gone that far. It literally might have just been a thought that this sounds nice and left it there with no further thought progression. Well, it sounds nice because it's reverb. You're hearing the effects of reverb, and our brain tends to like that effect because it sounds natural. So reverb, let's define it. Reverb occurs when a sound hits any hard surface and reflects back to the listener at varying time and amplitudes to create a complex echo. So let's break that definition down. Reverb occurs when a sound hits any hard surface and reflects back to the listener. So we have an image here of reverb on how it works. So we have the sound source. So let's create a hypothetical situation of me and you in a room talking to each other. I'm the sound source, you're the listener. So I'm speaking to you. We have a direct path, mouth to ear, direct sound signal, and it's a dry signal, no reverb from my mouth to your ear. We also have these other journeys of sound, this blue one, and we have this red one here. So these are bouncing off hard surfaces, you know, maybe a wall, maybe a ceiling, the floor, for example. And they're varying in time because this red one's taking longer to get to your ear than the blue one, for example. And if they take longer, it will vary in amplitude as well. So we have varying in time and varying in amplitude. And this creates a complex echo, the combination of all these varying journeys of sound to your ear. These are creating the complex echo. Reverb. So reverb occurs when a sound hits any hard surface, walls, ceilings, desks, for example, reflects back to the listener at varying time and amplitude, like we have here, blue and red, and it creates a complex echo. So to further progress the thought of why I sound better in the shower when I sing, it's because it's full of reverb. It's full of those flat and hard surfaces. And same with the toilets. It's filled with a tiled floor, brick walls, and sound will easily bounce off of that. It will easily reflect off of those surfaces. So years ago we even used to record singers and drummers in full rooms, in reverberated rooms to get that desired sound. But as technology has progressed, we prefer to record the artist in a room with no reverb, so we can then add it later down the line, gaining more control over that reverb, because humans just tend to love being perfect, or at least try to be perfect. So let's see how we can add it to a composition and also hear it in effect and hear what it sounds like so we know what we're dealing with. Reverb is the most common tool we use in music production because of how much our ear loves the effect, because it sounds so natural and it's something that happens in the real world. And when we're creating something digitally, we are losing that real world feel. So we have to almost inject that real life feel back into it when we've recorded instruments or even played instruments. Like a virtual keyboard, virtual violin, for example. We have to inject that life back into it with reverb. So I've got a vocal here that my friend kindly recorded, and it should allow us to hear the effects of reverb. Just to note, I'm using a different music creating software called Ableton. It's not to worry. What we're focusing on is how reverb sounds and how it works. So you don't need to worry about my music creating software. We are just going to focus on this today, so don't panic.
Sweet, sweet,
completely dry
sweet,
signal
sweet
here.
Nothings. Hope it turns him into something. 'Cause when he gets what he wants, so he'll sit back alone.
completely dry signal, sounds really close to the mic, no life into it. If we then add full mix, so this is completely reverberated now. If I go 0, it's a completely dry signal. If I go to 100%, it's completely reverberated signal. So you instantly inject that life back into it. Almost sounds like she's in a cathedral and you're like just walked into the door, she's really far away and she's singing and you're hearing all those reflections from the cathedral itself. So we want to create a mix, a balance between these two, 100% and 0. We also have the ability to control the decay and how long the reverb lasts. We can be really short. We can get it really long. We even have depth, which can be called diffusion. But don't worry too much about that. It's just basically controlling how big the room is. So for a vocalist, we'll go around here. I appreciate none of you have a vocal track, but it's more just so we can hear it today. So if I go around about 30%, we want to keep it under 3 seconds. We don't really want to go above 3 seconds because it starts getting, you know, a really long reverb tail. And we still want clarity. You know, as much as we love reverb, we also like clarity. We want to understand what people are saying. We want to hear the integrity, you know, the undivided sounds. You know, we want to hear that clarity. So
Sweet, sweet, sweet nothings. Hope it turns him into something.
So if I just turn the reverb off,
When he gets what he wants, so he'll sit back alone.
you know, completely
Oh,
lifeless.
he'll be gone, still lost.
And now you can start hearing
Sweet,
that life
sweet,
that we've
sweet.
injected back into it. It is to note, if you're on laptop speakers right now, you might not be able to hear the effects of the reverb that well. It'd be easier to pick up maybe if you had you will be able to pick up the sounds a lot easier if you've got headphones on or you're playing it out of some sort of speakers. You might be able to hear it with a bit more clarity then. So, that being said, I've created a small composition here, just like an intro and then a little loop of some chords, a melody on a violin, bass line and some drums. So it's kind of something similar to what you guys are doing in your project. Okay, so there you had it. You had the violin doing the melody, you had the keyboard doing the chords, you had a little bass line. So let's focus on the melody today. The reason why I want to focus on the melody for the reverb is because it kind of highlights the use of reverb the most, and it will probably be the most relatable to you in your music. Although I would like to apply some reverb onto the piano as well, so we'll get to that. So here we have the violin. This is it dry. Super dry, lifeless. So now we need to find a balance. So maybe there. And it's injected that life back into it, but we still have the clarity. So that's why we go under 30% and not really higher than that, because then we start losing that clarity. So I hope that makes sense in terms of how you can apply it to your compositions. We will go back over this, and I don't expect you to remember everything, but I do expect you to obviously take something away from this. Then we have the piano. This is a little bit harder to hear because I've used it really subtly. The reason why I've used it subtle is because I don't want to drown it. I literally just want to add it into that room. I want to put all these elements in the same room. You know, if I went to see a band live or a performance live with all the different instrumentation, bass, guitar, singer, they'd be under one roof and you'd hear a reverb of the room naturally. So we are just creating that. We're digitally creating a room. So I've added reverb onto all the tracks, and I've just done a little bit of reverb for all of them, and it just adds, you know, it puts them under one roof. That's what we're doing. It's like almost giving them a little home, all under one roof. Then we have a bass. I'm not going to go into too much detail of that because it's kind of the same principle. So that's that. I hope it all makes sense. If you have any questions, please write it in the comments in the chat. Amazing, thanks for listening and speak soon. Great, thanks for listening and until next time.